platform, we cannot have live classes simultaneously. There can only be
Oh,
one.
oh, because the writing one is happening.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
So we switched here.
So I was just inquiring this still showing join class soon. So is it the case for external people as well, or is it just for people
Yes,
like?
yes. For everyone, it was showing the class will be start too soon.
Okay, okay. We should fix something like that, no? I mean,
Hi guys, can you hear me?
yeah, you're audible.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, you are.
hi Gayatri. All right,
Hi.
so yeah, I mean, we decided to do this on Zoom because we have through IdeasX another session going on. So I think it's mostly a bunch of us. So I see Avinash is here, and Kirti, you're in touch with the rest of the members, I believe. We'll give it a few
Yes,
minutes.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Um, oh, I see Avinash's name here. Avinash, do you want to just
Yes, yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, hi. Be nice to know if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, please, Avinash.
Yes, sir. Presently, I am pursuing PhD from Indian Law Institute. I am
Okay,
working on the thesis title is the Bail Jurisprudence, a study of theory and practice gap in India. And
wonderful.
yes, yes.
So, how did you come to know of us and what?
Through through LinkedIn, I guess. Yes,
Okay,
LinkedIn.
all right,
Yes,
all
yes.
right, okay, wonderful. And you said you're doing your PhD. Which year are you in
I'm
currently?
in third year of my PhD, sir.
Third year. Wonderful.
I have submitted my two progress reports,
Okay,
and presently I'm SRF now. I'm in, and
okay,
yes, I'm on. I mean, I'll take another year to complete my PhD.
wonderful, wonderful.
Yes. I
EVT.
always, I always wanted to attend sessions from Jindal Global University, and it is a good opportunity that I came
Wonderful.
across this. Yes.
Yeah, I'll outline in a short while why and what we're trying to do here.
Right.
Just maybe let me request AV team से कोई है यहाँ please if you can unmute.
Yes.
हाँ, thank you so much in short notice for helping us. रिकॉर्डिंग अभी हम पॉज कर सकते हैं.
Uh,
मैं
okay,
बता
okay,
दूंगा जब रिकॉर्डिंग आपको स्टार्ट करना हो, है ना?
okay. May I start, sir?
Okay, we've started. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, a very good afternoon, everyone. We are trying to initiate, or sorry, rather, good morning. This is one of the beginning of many different interactive sessions that would be planned over the course of the next few weeks and months before the beginning of what would be Idea's first master's program in development practice starting this August from the Taj facility in New Delhi. This is one of those non-residential programs the university is offering, allowing students, development enthusiasts, scholars, thinkers, anybody who wants to be oriented towards the nature of social, political, economic challenges for the community at large to be part of this program. It's a one-year degree. I'll talk in brief about the program in more general terms, but also take this opportunity to address those who may be interested in having a very sort of a brief orientation of the kind of research, field work, and other programs that have been connected with centers at the university. One center in particular that which I've been involved as the director of, that's the Center for New Economic Studies. Um, the program, that is the 1 year MSc program, is being offered from the Office of Interdisciplinary Studies. The acronym we use often is IDEAS. IDEAS stand for interdisciplinary engagement across social sciences. So the beginning of ideas was in context to starting out in February 2024 under the vision of developing a research institute that is committed to undertaking interdisciplinary research, bringing scholars from different fields on campus at the university and across schools, basically to think about having a common research questions in different fields and areas, and really think about what kind of projects, research studies could be part of an umbrella institution. As some of you might know, that it's in the culture of some of the most prestigious Ivy League institutions to have institutes set up with that vision of bringing scholars from different departments and schools to come together. A very good example that you might think of is the Institute of Advanced Studies at Princeton. When it was set up, it allowed scientists from different practicing disciplines to come together and look at commonly identified or the most pressing questions at the time and work on those under the institutional support of the university. So, in much like that context and regard, we have with us the opportunity of engaging with scholars from the university, outside the university on different projects. So, the website of ideas, as you would find, would give you a lot of details about the kind of research work which has been happening over the last year. um, we had the vision of starting a master's program in development practice at the time of later, I would say, second half of this university. We didn't have a very clear plan of when and what would be the contours of offering this, and by the end of this year, we were very clear that this was one of the first degree programs that would, as a 1 year program, be offered in Delhi at our JGU International Academy, that is the Taj facility, and be allowed to be undertaken by as a degree program for any student who would be in social science or non-social science field, but really interested in understanding what the nature of development challenges are and how do we study and understand and interpret those. So a lot of thinking has gone into the creation of the outline, the program details. We are still sketching out in terms of finalizing the nature of elective courses that would be offered. The program is being offered, and just for the benefit of everyone who wants to get an idea of this, let me just have quickly and yeah. So if you see the, sorry, if you see the screen and the program brochure in front of you, which you would get access to by sharing your details, I'll very quickly take some time to walk you through this. So the brochure, as you see, has details about the degree program. It starts by talking a little bit about the university. OP Jindal Global University, as some of you may know, was started in 2009 as a philanthropic initiative of its founding chancellor, Mr. Naveen Jindal. The university, as of now, has over 14,000 students, 1,100 plus faculty members, and over 3,000 people in its administrative staff. We have had over the last decade a number of schools set up. As you would find that the university's vision was never to have separate departments set up in disciplinary spaces. So we have economists, sociologists working in almost different schools, including School of Art and Architecture or Banking and Finance, which would otherwise be identified with very domain-specific areas. So we've had faculty members with different social science background across schools, which is why there was a need.
Professor Dipanshu, sorry to interrupt you. If you're sharing the brochure now, it's not on the
Visible?
screen.
Oh,
No.
okay. Let me just, sorry. Yeah, is this, now you're able to see the screen?
No, we still see an MSc in
No, no, no,
development
that's
pattern.
fine. I just included that. Now can you see? No?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. So thank you. Um, so yeah, I mean, one of the things that, well, the need for having the office created was the fact that we had different scholars from social science backgrounds working across different schools. So the university of in the last few years has been performing as number one private university in the prestigious QS rankings by 2023, and was recognized and has been recognized in the top 150 universities under the age of 50 years by the QS Young Universities ranking indice. Now, about ideas, as I said, it became an incubator at the university level for undertaking interdisciplinary research. There have been a number of research constellations, as we call it, or clusters that have been set up, which has faculty members anchoring these constellations. The faculty teaching this MSc program are embedded and part of some of those constellations. So you can always find more information about what these constellations do from our website, but more importantly, you can also see and find or get more information as you engage with us over time. So within ideas, there are three important initiatives that will be involved at over a period of time in ensuring that there is greater immersive learning for students as part of the MSc program. I'll talk a little bit about the pathways in a while in terms of what students can do, because every student has different expectations in terms of when they want to come and be oriented in an MSc degree. So these three initiatives, Solidarity's Grassroots Action Program and Molding Methods, were created within the office as a space for developing greater engagement at a civil society level with organizations, initiate work with in partnership on empirical data collection exercises, surveys, training organizations, in fact, working with the government and different stakeholders involved on involving and advising on critical policy interventions, um, have a methodological understanding of what kind of orientation of change in learning and studying of developmental challenges are being, addressed from and across disciplines. So molding methods became from us a way of understanding the methodological journey of research scholars, and also over time get an orientation with how what we call as qualitative, quantitative, mixed methods are allowing students and scholars to develop tools to get a better understanding of the nature of complex development challenges that we face. So, uh, with the message of the vice chancellor, the message of the dean are those that you can always sort of take a look at. But just on the program, again, I mean, one of the reasons of picking up and a lot of potential students or registrants may ask this question on why development practice. I mean, one of the most interesting areas of trying to attempt to study, learn, and apply interdisciplinary interface of social science research and studies is to look at the nature of challenges that are being experienced within the complex developmental landscape in which our country, nation state, functions. We have what you'd consider as dualities of formality, informality, urban, rural, organized, unorganized sectors, landscapes, under which it becomes extremely difficult to have a larger vision of being able to look at where and how you would have the study of development brought in. But as you've seen in the last decade, a lot of the discussion around development is often confused with how much of growth a country has attained, the endless focus on GDP or looking at challenges of specific measurable indicators. The idea is not to look at those alone. Yes, it is important to understand from a measuring standpoint of what specific growth indicators do, but overall, in terms of skill sets, we find and realize that a student of development practice should have an orientation with the theoretical, the methodological, and the immersive aspects, which give you some practical skills in being able to work with a different area of work, whether it is consultancies these days, which are hiring for definitely a lot of challenges for policy makers. Most of the top consultancies at this point have an extensive amount of their project learning based outcomes realized with the government being as their principal client or stakeholder. So you have the expectation of being able to know and understand what the challenges are and how and what kind of interventions can you come up with. Similarly, you have a robust network of developmental organizations beyond sort of just working in orbit and support of the government, who require students who have a better understanding and a better or more diverse skill set, which they can use to be able to again help in designing and also suggesting intervention. So the program as such is a program that encompasses three different and key components: a larger focus on the theoretical design of what the paradigms of development, the role of state design, the role of historical context, colonial, post-colonial narratives that are important in the way you see and understand not just the Indian interface of looking at this. I mean, of course, the degree program is based and being offered from a university in India, so the focus on India, the local interface and challenge is, of course, it takes a precedent over what would be considered as a global interface with the program. But the idea of looking at the local is not to over contextualize and over emphasize, but to give you as a microcosmic reflection of what global challenges are in the development sphere. As I said earlier, the 1 year MSc Development Practice program in the non-residential in-person capacity is being offered from August, but we also have an online version of the same program, which is going to be offered later in the year, starting December. But the admission cycle for both are and has started. So as you go on our website and you try to get more information, you can do so. The online program is pretty much structured around the same component as so as I'll just sort of quickly scroll down and look at the different components of what the degree program offers. So in year one, which is the main critical year for the MSc program, both development practice and the development studies online program would have courses around theoretical perspectives, methodological orientation, and on academic writing, which is one of the main challenges that, as you know, as students of social science learning initially face. The emphasis on writing, not for the purpose of just writing assignments or essays, but more so engaging in developing a strong core narrative of what numbers or data sometimes helps us understand, or even qualitative observations help us understand, is very critical in our learning of the program. The trimester two is sort of a lot more focused on the design of looking at what research questions are critical, on project management and evaluation, a course which I would probably say is one of the most critical ways in which your employability quotient is built over time in terms of how you can manage and evaluate projects. There's a huge body of employment opportunities which are on impact evaluation studies, which organizations, including international organizations, require scholars to undertake, more so as consultants on projects, but there is a lot of value in being able to know this. At the same time, there are different elective courses and concentrations that are going to be offered. You'll have a lot more information about this as you register for the program. We've kept the electives, the mentions of those less visible at this point of time, because there's a lot of back end discussions that happen, what concentrations can make sense at what point of time in your own learning. There's a lot of focus on immersive learning, which will be pedagogically embedded in each course, which is that you have orientation to field work, which allows students to get actual practical field based experience. So by immersive learning, we don't sort of mention about the possibility of a bunch of students going on a specific field site, spending some time and coming back. The idea is to take what you observe, how you perceive the field or the landscape of where you are, to bring insights of those back into the classroom, and in some cases use and engage in a lot of audiovisual material, as you would see from the archive of our center's work, which gives you a very good device. So if you go on to the YouTube channel of the Center for New Economic Studies, you'll find a lot of playlists which help you document and understand the kind of fieldwork that has happened, and which was anchored in most cases by students it's themselves. So what we are trying to do here is to develop now a academic learning uh, interface for orienting, teaching, and making you learn and understand how and to what context you will have fieldwork taught. There's a separate course in trimester 3 which would look at immersive learning as an exercise. The online version of this would be very different from how, of course, the in-person end of the program would be. A few registrants and interested applicants have already asked this question about how the online program differs from the in-person program. The answer is pretty simple, which is the in-person program would give you a lot more of orientation towards practical aspects of learning through field-based exposure, while the online version, as much as it wants to achieve the same goals, would rely on existing audiovisual material and interface, and will of course focus a lot more on the theoretical and methodological contours of the degree program. There's also year two, which is optional for the students who do the year one, which is the MSc Development Practice Program. It will lead for those interested in developing their research skills, or moving towards a PhD program to have another year of what we are defining at this point of time is an MRes degree. There are more details about the MRes program, which will come only over time. This is going to be its own separate program, which will have a lot more focus on field-based immersion, evidence gap analysis, monitoring, and impact evaluation. So, more importantly, you will have a thesis to write, which would come out at the end of the year, which, as you would see, is critical in the way how your research orientation shapes up, particularly if you are looking and exploring for academic pathways for PhD and doctoral training. The potential electives, as I said, and concentrations right now are looking at broader themes of social equity, rural urban dynamics, data analytics. So the idea is to mix and match between not doing an extensive amount of intellectual orientation towards theoretical learning alone, but also have with you certain tools that you can take to the industrial interface of the market, especially when you graduate, to look for opportunities, and also at the same time work in teams better. So you'll have, again, as the brochure sort of indicates, a lot more information on admission details. As I said earlier, the program is offered from the Taj Academy. This is not a residential program being offered from the university's main campus in Sonipat, though you would have in some way a monthly time allocated, where if you are interested to visit the campus, we can have those things arranged for you. But the main classes are going to be run from the Taj Mansingh Hotel in the JGU International Academy over the week, particularly in the second half of the day. So even people with a job or a part-time work routine can very much attend this program in person. The program fees is kept at 2.5 lakhs for the entire year, which is extremely modest, as you would see if you would compare this in light of any other university programs that are offered by OP Jindal Global University. So on pathways, you'll definitely know that there's a huge focus now on data journalism, data communication, on areas of social entrepreneurship, but also very much involved in areas of policy and development consultancy, networks, risk consultancies, public sector driven consultancies, which are all recruiting those with exposure and orientation of development studies and development practice programs. You may also know that there are no main, or this is perhaps the first development practice nomenclatured program, but very few development studies focused programs that can help in adapt to the needs of what you would consider as the market of employment at this point of time, which requires that degree of practical orientation. Beyond a few universities, private and existing public institutions, there are hardly institutions in India to do it, which is why a lot of students with exposure to social science end up doing a very expensive master's degree in development studies and practice from abroad. It raises a lot of questions because your orientation is in for a very different context. The exposure to the field, as I said, in terms of drawing field-based examples, is extremely limited, and it makes a lot of challenges of both teaching, learning, and studying the impact of developmental processes, which are in end in itself extremely difficult. So with that, that's a lot of information that initially you would find of the program itself. We want you to have a more detailed orientation in terms of being able to know what you may want to do at the later stage. So if you're interested in also learning a lot more about the kind of work that we've undertaken on the field, you can go to our Center for New Economic Studies fieldwork interface to understand what kind of projects have centers at the university conducted this. Of course, the idea of the nature of questions, the idea of the nature of fieldwork, the idea of using different audiovisual tools, a lot of those things are covered in a very different light. When you teach an MSc program, you have to have a certain degree of ethical context building orientation, which a lot of the courses will do. But what I wanted to do, at least in this interaction, was to give you a brief idea about what, of course, the degree program is going to be about, but also the wide range and array of work that we've undertaken at the university, which led us to conceptualize this degree program. So keeping that in mind, for those who are interested, you could look a little bit at the information around the center's work on ideas itself. I'm going to just sort of very quickly open the ideas website as well for those who have not so far accessed this. Sorry, give me a second. I think they should be already. Sorry. Yeah, so if you go on the ideas website, which you should be able to get access to now. Is the screen visible as we?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, great. So this is for those interested in knowing who is offering the degree program. Information on the institute as such. It has been a year old, but there's a lot that the institute has been able to do. These are the information, as you see in the tabs, on different research constellations that are embedded. It provides for those looking at an academic research oriented pathway a lot of areas of work to prioritize and be engaged in over a period of time. The academic program information, as I've already mentioned in the brochure, is shared in this particular video. But if you are engaged in registering, you have to go in and fill this required information about the program. And as you scroll down, you'll get more details once you register for the program. So we need your information to come in as early as possible on different initiatives that I was talking about. You can find more information as you click on each of these. We have a very interactive executive learning program by the name of Ideas X, which, as you would probably know, is allowing for students outside Jindal, outside the university, to get oriented towards different short-term certifiable courses which are being offered in areas of digital ethnography, data visualization. So we have also space where faculty members from other institutes, including institutions like Azim Premji, Arth Global, or Space for Learning coming out from universities abroad, King's College, and with members from our advisory council members, you will find that they're all going to be engaged in different role and capacity in providing that executive learning experience over time. We're still sort of building this up in terms of the diversity of courses we can offer. In fact, as we speak today, there is a online writing workshop happening with our Center for Writing Studies, which is taking place. So these are some of the members of our advisory council. For those interested, you would find that there is a huge amount of international impetus offered by OP Jindal Global University for students looking at opportunities abroad. This is a very good space and a university platform to be part of. So you'll find a lot more information on the range of diverse scholars who've been part of our team. Having said that, we have information on our leadership team and the different faculty members who are involved with the center. In the last few months, you would be finding the inclusion of new faculty members who have come in to be part of the academic program, which will be teaching the MSc Development Practice degree. And yeah, with that, I think we are more or less done with what I had to say. We could stop maybe the recording at this point and then just open this up for any discussion that we need to. So I've stopped shared and the recording.